Hello, everybody, and welcome to From Misfits to Mystics, my new radio show. Welcome to show number 1. I'm super excited about the guest I have today. It's somebody I absolutely adore and love, Anne Christoph. I'm going to read about who she is and what she does, and then we're going to dig into a conversation about how her life unfolded into the place where she is today. Welcome, gorgeous.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me. This is so exciting. I'm so excited about your show.
Me too. So I'm going to read your bio so just people can get a sense of who you are and what you're up to. And then we'll dig into a great conversation. All right. Perfect. So Julianne is a true change catalyst in every sense of the word. She loves nothing more than sharing her message of conscious evolution and conscious living as a life catalyst, speaker, trainer, workshop facilitator, and best-selling author. Throughout her journey that is filled with ups and downs, resistance, self-sabotage, and massive leaps forward, it became obvious to Julianne that she had to dedicate her life to her own self-evolution, knowing it's the most effective way to truly bring change into the world. By doing our own inner work, we create change. Now she contributes to Humanities evolution by teaching coaches and holistic practitioners the 5 stages of conscious evolution, which I can't wait to talk about, a process that leads individuals through deep transformation by pulling them out of the story of their life so they can see reality and experience forgiveness, acceptance, and letting go. Only then can we humans move into our personal power. Julianne knows the power of the ripple effect, and by teaching the teachers this powerful process, we can reach the tipping point faster because humanity is evolving into new ways of being. So absolutely true. In a nutshell, Julianne's passion is to help individuals step into their truth and power of whom they truly are at the core by aligning their humanness with their beingness, brackets soul, my favorite conversation, so they can live the life they are destined to live. She's founder of Change Revolution as a bridge to new ways of being. Well, right? This is fantastic bio. I love what you're up to. Just to give you some information, Julianne is one of my favorite people, one of the most optimistic and positive human beings I've ever met in my entire life. And I'm super excited because we need to lift it all up a little bit, right? We have to get into the groove as human beings and learn that there's positivity that still exists even through our darkness and our challenges and our experiences. And I really wanted to dig into that conversation with you. This show is about from misfit to mystic. It really is a conversation around, people who didn't really fit in, but are now really in their they've transcended it and are now in their own mystical magic and living on purpose. And, you're one of those people that are definitely doing that in the world today. So I want to talk to you about how that happened. Like, how did this all happen?
Oh my God. I guess life really brings it. It's really interesting. I want to say first that I keep saying to people when they say to me, you're always in a good mood. Like you're really so optimistic. And I say, you know what? We have one life to live. Like we're here now. So might as well do the best of what we have here. So we have the choice. We have the options. And I choose to have fun more than be sad and
you're very contagious too.
Well, that's perfect. It's one of the things that I can share in abundance. Yes. Absolutely. So I guess I always had that philosophy somewhere. I grew up with that. It's not necessarily that I was surrounded by it, but that's what I believed in. I didn't believe that we were born to suffer. Although I did have many rough periods in my life, which I think all of us do. But yeah, it's really about living the best life. And, we all live through major challenges sometimes.
We do. And I would love to talk to you about yours and how you went from your challenges and maybe not feeling like you fit in perfectly into this whole entire picture of life and how you transcended yourself.
Well, it's interesting. I think like many that feel that don't fit in, all the misfits, it's like even growing up, we didn't fit in. Like whether it's at home, at school, with friends, wherever it was, we never really fit in. There was always something that was putting us aside. So I grew up like that and never really felt understood by anyone. But it's only when, I guess you go through life and you try to deal with it and you try to figure yourself out, and you do sometimes I'll be pretty raw, stupid stuff.
Like what?
Like many teenagers do. But I won't really dwell into that one. I'll just fast forward 10 years when I was, working full time as a sales rep. And I think that was really a soul killer. You know what? We fall into a job like so many of us do. It's like we're just falling into whatever is presented to us because we're not taught anything else. Like, we can study, we can do things, but even the studying often is not what we really want, but we don't know what. So we just move to whatever is presented to us. So that's what I did for 7 years. And that brought me to a major burnout where I was 5 months completely out of order. I really was waking up at night to hate my boss, literally crying my eyes out. And I couldn't do that anymore. So I left the sales behind. And then I went on my own as an entrepreneur. And that's where it all started. How I think it's really the big point of my first conscious evolution.
And I would like to ask you this question. What happened on the inside of you that brought you to that realization you needed to make a move forward in a different way?
I asked myself, what do I really want? Who am I really? And what do I really love? And I didn't know how to answer any of these questions.
Wow, that's really powerful because that's what a lot of people are living, right? Which is part of your work in the world as well as, from humanness to beingness. Those types of questions are so valuable and important. Very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
It took a while before answering those questions.
Right?
Yeah. Like, doing that alone is scary. Very scary.
Tell me about that. How did you move through the fear? How did you get yourself through that? Was it because a point that I think is really important for my audience is to understand like the call of sadness, discomfort, depression, misery, I'm uncomfortable with my life, I'm not happy. Something's like constantly making me feel like I'm not in the right place. Listening to those messages is something that's really difficult for people to hear it like it's a messenger versus it's, a truth. Like the sadness or the bad feelings are not necessarily truths, they're messages. So how did you do that? How did you listen in a way that was, propelling for you?
I think after 4 months of crying my eyes out and being stuck on my sofa crying, I was just done with that. I couldn't stay there. I really could not. So I was really at the end of the road. I didn't have the choice but to say, okay, I got to do something. And it's that moment where I chose to do something and to try to answer these questions. And when I saw that I really could not answer these questions, I sought help. I really went, and I didn't want to go. I had gone to a psychologist and stuff, and it wasn't the right match for me. It's not what I needed. So I sought the help of a coach at that time. And he was like, I didn't know what coaching was at that time. That's like in 2003 or something, 2002. I don't even know. That's a while ago. But I worked with him just a little bit, maybe 2-3 sessions, and that's it. But it was enough to say, oh, there's that world that I know of, but that I am not really aware of. Like it felt familiar, but I didn't know what it was. And that led me to, starting my own business and really figuring out, oh, like I do have passion. I do have something to give people. I do have something to share. I didn't quite know what it was yet, but my optimism came back and my who I am really emerged.
Right. So this is super interesting. So from listening to your pain and taking the correct action and being willing to hear through that experience, you found your natural self started to emerge again.
Exactly.
That's
So
fantastic.
and it's interesting because I just did a little live video just before now about that exact topic.
That's
How to
good.
use our emotions to dig much deeper. And as humans, that's one of the beauties that we have, but we label emotions or fear, doubt, or whatever it is, shame, as bad, as something that we don't want to feel because it's not comfortable, instead of using them to really help us dig deeper and really see what's really the message behind it. It's only saying, hey, you're not aligned. So back then, that's what I did, not knowing that that's what I was doing. Like, I wasn't conscious of it.
Right.
But that's what I did. And it's only later when I studied coaching, and then even when I studied coaching, I don't know if we were working together at that point.
You and I?
Yeah. I don't know, but
I don't know
it's been so long now. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, it's only when I studied coaching, because it was a program based on energy and consciousness, that I started to understand the power of emotions and becoming conscious, what it really meant.
I love it. And conscious of your emotions, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And conscious that, something that I always talk about, which I find very, very, very important, is our feelings are not facts. They're emotions and experiences and energy that are coming up so that we can understand ourselves and hear how we feel about whatever it is that we're doing, or hear how our subconscious is reacting to whatever we're doing, or our past imprints or beliefs. And when you think of it like this, which I know you and I have talked about many times, is when we think about ourselves and our emotions with this open-mindedness, don't we evolve through it so much more quickly? Isn't it just, it becomes a map, a treasure hunt map, where you just get to realize underneath some of these negative emotions is you.
There's so much beauty. Yes.
Right? Is your solutions, right? Is who you truly are, who is what you need to do or what you need help with. And we don't have to be afraid of those emotions, which is so, I think it's so critical to people, and that's what makes us feel out of place, is when we don't embrace our natural experience that's happening inside,
Exactly. Yes. Because we grew up in a place where we're stuck in the story of what's unfolding in front of us. We were not taught how to pull ourselves out of that story.
Yeah, great point. And let's talk about that. So what things do you do? We'll get back to your story in a minute, but I want to know what things you do to pull yourself out of your story. Like, where did it start for you, let's say? What happened after?
That was really a process of understanding, as an example, the emotions. What are they really there for?
Yeah.
So it requires us to really slow down in the first place. You can't just keep going and going and going, because then you're stuck in the story, and then there's emotions and interpretations and all these layers that add on, and then it makes like a huge ball and you're kind of stuck in there. So slowing down, stop and breathe is something I do constantly, so I can really take a step back and really see. Now it's more of a way of living where I naturally am slowing down and assessing, not getting caught in the emotion. I'm just observing it, not judging it.
Yeah. So I know, because we've done some work together, hasn't always been easy. So I would love for you to share with my audience, how did you figure out, apart from, like, I know having help and somebody pointing it out, and you're learning a practice that makes sense to you, but at one point you gave yourself permission to really be within and just relax. Was it through a bunch of experiences? Was it through saying yes to all of you? Was it just made sense because it worked when you did it? What brought you to that? Yes, I really need to live this way consciously in my emotional state.
I think for me, I don't think I would have been able to just say yes and like embrace it all, because it's a lot. Like it's very intense. So it happened in, like always with me, in layers. I had to do like one step of, okay, that's fine. I can feel these emotions, because it's a question of feeling. you really have to allow yourself to open up and feel what's there and know that it's part of you and not be scared. So I had to tame that part of me at first to really say, oh, okay, it's okay. And then allow that to just have the space.
Right. So that sounds like permission, acceptance.
Yeah.
Things
yes.
like that.
About emotions and about the story that I was attaching to the emotion.
Which is a very invaluable point, because sometimes, like we were talking about, people think that their feelings are truth versus a story. They don't know the difference between I'm just telling myself a story versus I should feel concerned about how I'm feeling because these are truths. Because they're not. A lot of the time our feelings just want to process, right?
Exactly. Yes. So when I learned the difference, how to differentiate, how to say, okay, this is the emotion, and that's just what I'm attaching to it. When I was able to pull those two apart, and now I do it naturally, then you have a very different picture of what's really going on. So it's not a story anymore. So then you can go deeper and deeper, allow more.
Right, which is amazing, because that's part of conscious emotional evolution, right? Which is, I know, a conversation you love. Like, just anything around conscious evolution is what you're all about, you know? So tell me about how this company started. Like, what was your process from, you had a business, you were working for somebody, you started, I think you had a franchise, no?
I had a gym.
You had a gym. Right. And then, so from there, right, you had another transformation.
Yes. I realized that, oh my God, like I had a really thriving gym. Yeah. And then I became the area director for the province of Quebec. And I was doing opening in France and like everywhere, French speaking places, countries. And then I had my first child, and I said, you know what, I want to time with my baby. And that's when I studied coaching, and that's what gave me verbiage to what I already knew, but I didn't know how to express.
Amazing.
I studied coaching, and I didn't want to be a coach. I wanted to be a public speaker, and I wanted to do like conferences and workshops and whatnot. And I ended up bringing the program. I was the first international licensee, so I brought the program of one of the most like top schools, coaching schools in North America, to Canada. And for 5 years, I ran the operations. So I trained over 450 coaches. I'll say worldwide. I mean, people were flying from Kazakhstan and China and like from everywhere, Iceland. And it was really fun. I had a blast. I met so many amazing people. But at one point, it was very obvious with everything that was happening and everything that was changing that I had to let go of the school and to really bring my own message out. Now, that was different because I always had a franchise or a license of someone else's, message or passion. Now, I was at a place where I could put myself out there. And that's pretty scary because it's your message. It's not, you're not backed by anyone. So the day that I decided that, okay, it's over, is the day where I sat down in my kitchen and I wrote down the 5 stages. Like it came through me, it poured out.
So let's pause there. So you had a surrender moment where you realized like, this is really not who I am. I know you went through certain challenges as well, which developed you and helped you. Yeah.
Sometimes we're pushed, huh?
Right. So I mean, you're not sharing that part so much, but I know it because we
can share a little
through it a bit together. Yeah.
Yeah, I can share a little because we were towards the end. I mean, they were going through their own transformation, the licensor. Yeah. And they were going through massive transformation that was affecting me. And it was affecting my business in a really not fun way at all, which made things very difficult. And I lost a lot of money. And I guess and before that, there were signs where I should have said, you know what? Yeah, just kind of, that's not working. Like, this is not okay. But I had self-worth issues. And I couldn't put my foot down to say, whoa.
Amazing.
So, and I remember
amazing that you know that, amazing that now you just clearly understand you know, the reason I was in this situation was because I lost my voice. I didn't have the esteem I needed to say no, or I need to move on, or, you know, so you were developing that sense of purpose in yourself, and that sense of love and respect and those types of qualities.
Oh my God, there was so much in this in this experience, so much learning and growth, evolution on fast forward. Because when we resist, and I was like, no, 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 and I had my eyes closed. No matter, like, we worked a lot on that, you and I. And it was hard. It was very hard. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to admit to myself that I had self-worth issues until I had to lose it. Like, money-wise, it was represented money-wise. I lost a lot of money. So that day when I said, whoa, it's enough, that's when everything changed.
Incredible. Yeah, because this is what is so powerful to me. You had a moment of surrender. First, you gave yourself permission to surrender, to tell the total truth to your heart, from your heart to you, your heart back from you to your heart.
Yeah.
And then you downloaded where you are today. Like,
exactly.
I know it was a work in process, but that was it. An absolutely incredible moment, because you made space, and your own spirit could come and say, this is what you are, and this is who you are. You know, and this is what we're going to do, even though at the time you might not have understood the depth of your work, right? Because it's the beginning, like an opening, a total opening within. See, and this is the thing about becoming that mystical part of who you are, which I find so important and valuable in our conversation here, is you transcended something. You know, you transcended your self-worth. You took your self-esteem and said, I got you.
Yes.
I got you. I'm here. I got you. Even if I don't know what to do, I got you. And if I don't have you, my coach has you. And, you know, right. And if she doesn't have you, the creator's got you. Right. And you went through this, right?
You said, like, I said no, and then I made space for something.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't even imagine the magnitude of what was coming. But just by saying no to one thing, saying it's enough, that space opened up. I have goosebumps. And now it's making me think of the changes that I made a bit less than a year ago, let's say 10 or 11 months ago, when I said no to that. And now I'm seeing the space that it's creating. Honestly, now it just clicked. If that little no, that was in fact a big no back then, made space for what is now, the space that I just made last year, I said yes to what? Like, I don't think I can even imagine the magnitude of what's really coming now, because that was a little space, and now it's a huge space that I made.
I'm sure. Sure that my audience right now understands why I said you're one of the most optimistic people I know. Because honestly, like, that was so Julianne style right there. No, it's like, and I mean, I just see it, I feel it, I know it. And it's beautiful because
it's exciting. How about an exciting life? Might as well just go for the big thing.
Exactly. And this is the great thing right now that you were discussing, is you transcended not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times. You know, you're saying it was these layers of my life that I was able to see more, experience more of myself, step more into my beingness, and become that person who could say yes to that big, explosive and expansive life, which is, you know, so important. Because isn't that where so many people that I know I work with and that you work with get stuck, is the permission, the understanding. With every no, you're holding yourself back, you're opening yourself up. But with every time we don't say no when we need to say no, we're also retracting and contracting and holding ourselves in the wrong container.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Exactly. We're saying no to the wrong things.
And we're attaching ourselves to something that is not serving us at all.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I love this conversation. All right. So let's fast forward, because now we're talking, you transcended a bunch of times.
Yes.
You're finding your mystic. You're finding that mystical self. You're finding that person who sees who they are, who they're meant to be, which is really what that statement, like to me, mystic means you are in your magic. You are in full throttle magic in who you are and what you're meant to do and what you're supposed to do and what your soul wants you to do. And now you're stepping in, you know, and this is where you are today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is magical.
Yeah.
And that had to come with probably, you know, yes, after losing $250,000 is
Woo!
a lot of money,
Boom.
but there's, yeah, boom. But then there's the other big step, a change, where it's interesting.
The revolution?
Change revolution, exactly. And I was talking about that just this morning with a client where it was my marriage. Yeah. No, it wasn't a bad marriage. Yeah. But what really brought me to this, where I'm at now, is when I chose myself instead of my marriage. And my ex-husband was a phenomenal man. He's a great dad, and he is amazing as a man. And we had a great relationship with a lot of respect and support and all that. But yeah. I had done so much self-evolution. I had transformed so much, and he had not done that work. So energetically, even when we were talking or trying to communicate or connect, we were not on the same level. So the message was not coming across the same way. So we couldn't communicate. So we got to a point where we both agreed that it wasn't working anymore, and that we, because we respect each other, that we both deserve to be with partners that would allow us to just, you know, elevate even more.
That's beautiful.
So we chose to separate. And the day that I said to we had that conversation, and I said to him, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. Is this going to work? And we both saw that it was not going to happen, is the day that I chose myself. And that in itself is a massive transformation, because sometimes we don't want to choose ourselves because it's like, oh, it's the relationship or the idea that we have about a relationship or the kids, or we fear not having money or able to support ourselves, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that wasn't an option anymore. If I wanted to go higher and be who I truly am, I needed to let go of that relationship.
You know, it's amazing because I watched that process, you know, yes. and you know, many people struggle with that, Julianne. Like many people are frozen and glued to what they know versus taking the risks of moving forward, knowing that, you know, there's more and the discomfort has a reason, and it's okay to face the reason. And it's also okay to love yourself and someone else enough to not imprison them to a situation that you kind of know isn't the right one for them.
Yes.
It takes a tremendous amount of courage and love, self-love and love for somebody else to actually say, I could stay here, but I know that I'm not the right person for you. Mm-hmm. And it's not fair for me to make myself stay here and hold you in a place that isn't honest and true, because I know I'm not connected the way you need someone to be connected. Mm-hmm. So this is, first of all, I commend you for that, because I know how painful and difficult that was, because I was there.
Yeah.
But also that you've done it, and now you're a true example. And it's not about ending marriages or relationships. It's about looking at what really doesn't serve us and where we're not serving others. And sometimes relationships are part of that. You've talked about having to let go of a job. You've talked about having to let go of a franchise. You've talked about having to let go of a marriage for you to rise, knowing these things don't fit because of your own transcendence and your own transformations. Mm-hmm. That's incredible courage and power. You know, and I know those experiences, you bring them to what you're teaching, and you use your own methods. I know, you allow other people to coach you. We have both similar values in having a coach or somebody that we go to for guidance. Yes. If that's such an important part of the work of transformation, but you also teach those principles in the 5 stages,
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to hear more about what else. Is there anything we missed so far in the conversation that you really want people to know that will help them?
It's really about, well, I think there's so much that people
Yeah, of
can
course.
learn and know. Um, but the moment that we choose ourselves,
Mhm.
we can't go back anymore. Like
Yeah.
from that moment, you're never going to go back.
And tell us why. Let's talk about the why. I think that's an incredible spiritual awakening moment
Mhm.
when we tell ourselves the total truth that you can't turn around and pretend you don't know it anymore, which is why so many people avoid the truth and we run away and we create patterns and obstacles and subconscious beliefs to like knock us out of the truth, even
Yeah.
though deep down inside we know,
Yes.
right?
I think the first thing that I learned was to be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Wonderful. Yeah. Love it.
And that allowed me to face the truth.
Mm.
To really, and now it's not even an option. It's
Yeah.
the only thing that I
I
do.
can validate you there because I know you're like, Lisa, give it to me straight.
I want
Great.
to know, because this is the
Yeah,
only way to freedom.
totally.
And I've dedicated my life to my self-evolution so I could help others. So the only way that I can do that and be true to myself and authentic is to face the truth.
Fantastic.
And that is the most freeing thing. And that's what people don't get, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand how freeing the truth is.
100%.
Not about others. It's about yourself, really. The truth about yourself, about what you're doing and not doing, and how from there you have all the power in the world. You can choose not to do anything. As long as you know what the truth is, and then you choose consciously what to do, it's all fine. It's all okay. But you have to face the truth. So that was really the first step for me, facing the truth that the marriage wasn't working and that what I really wanted was on the other side. Now, that was a wild ride in itself.
But you know, what's interesting too is you not only faced the truth about that, you faced all those pieces and moving parts. Like it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need? What's the truth about what I need? What do I need to do for my children?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard for my children. It's going to be hard for him. These were all truths. It's not just the truth of like, I have to do this for myself. It's the truth of all the moving parts of this ending, and any ending, which create the strength that we discover about, inside of ourselves that lead us to the next step and the next step and to the becoming and the receiving of the more. Because then you're able to understand, like, it's not just about what I want. In honor and in dignity and authenticity and respect, we honor all the moving parts of a situation for everything inclusively. And that gives us this power, this awareness, there's something I learned a long time ago about, being a psychic medium like me and seeing from another perspective, like all my life, is that there's so many moving parts to a story, and those pieces are so incredibly important.
Yeah.
And they all matter. And when we hide from any one of them, we might be harming somebody or something that's really important that needs attention and affection. That all by our paying attention to all of it, we can serve those moving parts in this whole other level, which make everything easier for everybody. Mm-hmm. When we avoid and we don't, communicate to ourselves, to the situations, we don't seek the truth, we don't console the ones that we love, we lose opportunity and create more pain. And right?
Yeah, it's what you're saying is so true, and I can relate it to my kids and even my ex-husband, where because I was very disconnected from my emotions, or I not even just disconnected from my emotions, but because I couldn't communicate in the way that was understood, in the way that I meant it, I stopped talking, which I also stopped talking to my kids. I didn't know how to communicate to them or to my ex-husband. Not that my kids didn't understand me, but because my program was, he doesn't understand me, then no one understood me. Mm-hmm. So I really stopped communicating effectively. And it had a huge impact on my kids. So just like you said, and now choosing myself allowed me to start communicating in a very different way where people understood me. And now my kids understood me. And now they're learning to communicate in a very authentic way. So it goes beyond what, and also the image of what I wanted to show them of what a real relationship is, what true connection is on the same level. I had to live it myself.
Absolutely. And also with your ex-husband, right? Because you showed each other a level of integrity and dignity and respect that I'm sure your children, they're going to carry that because you didn't shut it down. You ended on a note of, I'm going to take care of what we did have. And you as a human being, to the best of my ability, with respect to myself, I'm going to honor what you need to do for yourself, which sets the tone of magic for your children to know that you don't have to torture yourself in a situation that's not right for you or the other person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's amazing truth, amazing integrity. Fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. And it's really a bit, about stage 2 in the 5 stages of conscious evolution.
Let's talk about that. Good conversation. Tell me about the 5 stages. And by the way, I love your t-shirt.
Oh, I love my new t-shirt too. Thank you.
Our t-shirts say from Misfit to Mystic, just for those of you that are not watching and listening instead.
Because we can't necessarily see. So the 5 stages, stage 1 is awareness. And I guess for me, it was brought to, losing a lot of money and then a marriage, and all that happened in the same period of time. I lost the money, my marriage was falling apart, and I had bought a house with $80,000 of a hidden defect. Like, it was all happening in a period of less than 2 years.
Wow.
So, awareness that something is not working, I think it couldn't be more clear than the situation I was in. And then it's, discovery and realization. And I think this is what we're really talking about. It's like the discovery of what's not working, what's really happening, and what's possible. What do I really want? Like what's out there? What can I live? And you start tying the dots and you start making, not just making peace, but yes, slowly you're starting to make peace, but because you're seeing possibilities, it fires you up. But at the same time, you discover that you're the root of everything that was, in the past. So there's 2 things happening at the same time. But this is stage 2 is a huge stage that many people are in, but they're stuck in that story, and that's where they need help.
So true.
Yeah, stuck in the story.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then what?
Then stage 3 is all about acceptance and letting go.
Fantastic.
That is the biggest stage. And there's one key thing in acceptance, and it's about forgiveness. Forgiveness and making peace with yourself, with others, with the relationship, whatever it is. That is crucial. You cannot let go of anything if you're not at peace. So this is, and sometimes it's hard, and it takes time. Yeah. And it's fine. We need to honor ourselves in that process. That's a stage where we need a lot of nurturing and a lot of downtime and looking inside and be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Right. And also just learning to not hold resentments because you find acceptance and forgiveness. These are very important stages of beingness, things we need to learn, their values and virtues we have to learn inside to be able to have those qualities and character, the character of acceptance and forgiveness, and living that way. Like I'm able to accept other people. I'm able to accept my truth. I'm able to understand that people are human and everything's not directed at me. And maybe things are not necessarily personally, confronting me, so
we take it personal, but often it has nothing to do with us.
No, exactly. And having that quality. And what's the last stage?
So actually there's stage 4, which is stepping into your personal power.
Oh, awesome.
And that's the fun one, because you're really stepping into your power. It's taking responsibility for your life. It's about starting to really create, regardless of what happened in the past or what's happening in the present, you always have an eye in the future. And you want to know where you're moving forward, but it encompasses everything. It's who you are. So you're stepping into your power and you're becoming strong in your center, in your pillar, where nothing around really matters. You're considering and you're not, basically you're caring and loving, but you know what you want. You know who you are and what you're thriving for. And stage 5 is moving forward. And that's basically when all this is done and you've taken responsibility, you know exactly where you're moving forward. Like right now, I'm like in stage 5 with my 5 stages. It's like, I know where I'm going and I'm having a blast.
Totally. So let's talk about some of the work that you do as we come to our closing points here. So I know you do one-on-one coaching and you actually coach people through the 5 stages so they find their own process with you, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you actually coach one-on-one to take them through the 5 stages of evolution. And now you have a program to teach other coaches and empaths and healers and, you know, people that are in the field to take the process that you walk your own clients through and teach them how to do the same techniques to bring people to that place of beingness and finding their power and living that authentic life that's really meant for them, right?
Exactly. So it's the teaching the 5 stages, there's a lot, there's techniques and tools, but there's really the concept and the depth of every stage and what every stage encompasses and how we tie the dots, because clients come in and they're often lost, confused, or they don't know where to go, and they need to know, they need clarity and confidence and inner peace. So there's a lot that is being taught about the humanness, but how is the humanness working with our soul in alignment? Basically, how our soul is getting our attention through our humanness. That's what it is. But I work with the human side, really. And so people can start understanding what it really means to be human with basically we're souls having a human experience, but what is it really? What does it mean to have a human experience while being very conscious and open
and evolving
constantly? Yes,
and to accept evolution as part of life, like that's really what what it's all about.
Exactly. It's the only way to go. It's the only thing that will continuously happen is our own evolution.
You know what I love too about the 5 stages and how you communicate about them and share about them is they really are, it's a lifestyle of transformation.
Yes.
So it's really like a conscious lifestyle transformational process. So people who, you know, even if they take your program and they learn it and they're a coach, they can use it themselves with their clients, but it's also about you. It'll help you as a person develop attributes and ways of living that will, it just turns like a circle. You do this, you do that, you do these stages, and these stages bring you to the same place all the time.
Well, it's like the spiral. It's like you start at one point in stages, but you spiral up, and you always move through the 5 stages continuously throughout your life. No matter where you're at in your own self-evolution, you keep moving upwards through the 5 stages. You can always go deeper and be more.
Absolutely.
The 5 stages, what I really love about teaching this is people go through the process themselves in order to really integrate, because that's one thing that I see a lot now. There's a lot of noise out there about, self-evolution. But it's all
just words.
And it's all stuck in your mind.
Yeah, it's just words.
It's not integrated.
Yeah.
But there's the power is not the same when you learn to integrate and really move through it. Then it becomes authentic, and then it's your own. It becomes wisdom.
Right, and it's a process. You actually the stages are a journey, a lifestyle journey that brings people to transformation and who they are and their own awakenings. And I love this term beingness for you, because really that's, being. Knowing you for so long, and that's really where you are today. Like you went from all this humanness, which you totally accept now, and you're really being who you are with all the different qualities, all the different moving parts of you, from your higher consciousness, your soul, yourself, the human being that you are, the state of energetic affairs in your world. You know, it's like you're just really like, I'm really happy with all of these moving parts of who I am.
Yes.
And you're not in that struggle that you've been in at different times, and total celebration for you with that.
Yes. And the day that I accepted to be here on earth and human,
yes,
was such a powerful.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that. How did that happen? Maybe the audience would like to hear about that.
It's really in a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I was really in this meditation where it's Mother Earth and the Creator who really, where I was in a place where I had opened up to really receive. And, you know, just opening up and receiving in itself took time, because it was scary for me to receive. And it's like, I didn't know how to receive and how to be open. Mm-hmm. So just learning that was a process. Mm-hmm. But once I was really in that place and ready and open to receive this power of being human, and regardless of the responsibility, it's not, I don't even see it as a responsibility anymore. It's really about fun being human. There's so much vibration that came in, and it was so elevating and grounding at the same time. That defining moment was when I really stepped into my power and into my groove. Mm-hmm. But it's the allowing of that to happen. Mm-hmm. Knowing that I am not really in control. Like it's not the skin suit that I have on that is in control. Yeah. Really, but when I open up and then I just allow myself to be the catalyst or the conduit, that's where the power lies.
Right.
And that's
the excitement.
Yeah.
That's the excitement for sure. Yeah. So I want to know a little bit more. I just want my audience to be able to find your program if they, are interested, but also I want your definition of why it's so important to have a coach or somebody that helps you transform. I think that's very important for people to find comfort in transformation, and to know that support is really important, and it's okay. It's okay to have it. It's okay to say yes to having support.
I think it's interesting that you say that, because I think everyone, I'll say, quote unquote, should have a coach, because it's easy for us to get stuck in the story. Yeah. And we don't see clearly when we're too close to what's happening. Mm-hmm. So having a coach really is having someone from the outside helping you get out of the story and help you evolve and get a different perspective. Sometimes you could need a coach in a very intense way. Yeah. And sometimes it could be just once a month, once every 2 months, and then you go back in because of where you're at in life. But having that person to guide you, that you can trust, that you can open up to, that they get you, they understand you, you feel safe. Yes. Someone who, what I believe in is your coach, your mentor. For me, it's someone who is further ahead, who knows, who has integrated more than me. That's for me. So integrated meaning has the wisdom. Yes. So they know, they know what it is. It's not just something that they repeat from their, whatever they heard or something they wrote down or read somewhere. It has to be someone who has the experience and the knowledge, the real knowledge, which is now wisdom. Right. We need someone to guide us.
That's fantastic. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And in every area of my life, because I'm talking about human, but I'm really doing a lot of spiritual work too, which is for my own self-evolution and that's beautifully
well put, because it's important, I believe, that we fit who we choose. You said something the other day that was so beautiful, and it was just like, that, and what you just said was beautiful too. Like, I know that you know what I don't know, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't know, you're gonna find out.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I want to hang out with people who know more than me, so I can learn more and then just share and evolve. And definitely.
It creates that effect, and you translate what you attain in your own mentorship with others who you mentor, which just creates a beautiful ripple effect.
And that's the ripple effect I keep talking about. It. That's how we pass it down.
Yeah.
And
it's easy too, because it's the ripple effect, which is really beautiful. It's a drop. It's just a drop. It's not like a boulder has to go in the water, even though that's fine. But it doesn't have to be like that. It can be a drop. One drop, one word, one beautiful statement, one glance of acceptance, one hug. One it's okay.
Yes.
These things change people's lives. Like they give them a place. Like,
absolutely. I totally know that.
Look at us. Look at how we met, right? We met, I swear, it was the coolest thing ever when I think about it. We're at a networking event, and I don't know how it happened. We sat down next to each other, and you asked me, and you're like, oh, I think I was looking for someone like you.
Honestly, it's because like 3 days before I asked, can you send me, universe, can you send me someone who can help me with my son? And then
that's right. Which again, right, the power of prayer.
Yeah, exactly.
The power
and I learned that a long time ago, because I started meditating at 9 years old.
Exactly.
And I always asked and received, but I didn't know how the law really worked. It's only when further along in my journey that I'm still learning how the power of asking and receiving and allowing the receiving.
And it's all in the stages also, right? It's being able to say, I need this.
Mm-hmm.
I understand I need this, and accepting it and just doing it. And all of a sudden the power doesn't have to be in us. It can be from who comes to help us.
Yes.
It doesn't have to always be us alone figuring everything out, doing everything on our own.
It shouldn't be. Never.
No. Right.
That's
I love it. That's a great point. That's a great point. So tell us in closing, what else you really think the audience needs to know about you or about your work. And I also, your company's, your website is changerevolution.ca.
Yes.
So, it'll be, you can also check the verbiage, because I have you as a guest on my radio station. So we're good, but just to tell everybody that. Mm-hmm.
So changerevolution.ca is the website, and it's really about the bridge to new ways of being. It's really about us as humanity moving into new ways, because the old ways, the patriarchal way of living, is not working anymore. So when you go on my site, you really see that it addresses to those who know that there's another way, but you might not know how to live in this new way of being and what it means for you. So I'm very open, and I'm very authentic. I'm very raw. There's no, in the morning when I dress, it's like, what do I feel like wearing today? It's not like, I'm going to that meeting. Should I wear a suit? No, if I want to wear jeans, I'm going to wear jeans.
Misfit.
Yeah, exactly. that part does not really leave me. It is part of who I am. Yeah. But I'm very raw, very me, very authentic, very simple. And that's one of the rules that I live by. It has to be simple. It has, if it's too complicated, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
love it.
That's what it is. And I'm pretty straightforward, straight to the core also in my coaching. So if you need someone with white gloves, I might not be the person.
I'm definitely not for you.
But I laser beam pretty quick on what it is. So you have to be ready for transformation. You have to.
And tell us too, like, about the program. So is the program also the application to get in the Change Revolution for coaches, healers, empaths, people that are in the field who really want to learn another way, another, tool to put into their coaching or into their healing practice?
Yeah, this is really a process that you incorporate into what you're already doing, because it amplifies what you're doing. And there is a screening. So basically it's a call with me. I want to make sure that the people that are in the program have an understanding of energy and have clients, are already working with people, because it is a very powerful process. And it's you have to have a solid base to even understand.
they need to have some kind of consciousness about energy and about self-work and transformation already, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
Like, I'm not teaching the nuts and bolts of how to ask a question and how to acknowledge and validate.
Yeah, which you can do too, but that's, not necessarily where you're taking your.
Oh, yeah. And I did that for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I know how to do that. I just choose that I can, flow over it, but I'm not going to dig deep in that.
And it's also you've integrated such new teachings, you know what I mean? Yes. And the 5 stages are really needed in our world today. It's a very valuable and easy journey to lifestyle transformation change, which will make a tremendous difference. So people who learn the 5 stages, coaches, empaths, healers who want to learn how to implement that in their practice, also teach their clients how to do it as well. And it becomes like the stages of evolution versus something, and that people have to try to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes.
It's something that's beautiful. Right, right. Anyways, I've loved this conversation.
That was so fun. I'm so grateful. This was a blast. I really had a blast. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And I'm so proud of you and who you are and who you're becoming. You're just getting warmed up. And I know that with all my heart.
Thank you.
So thank you everybody for showing up to the show. Julianne.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being there. And thank you, Lisa, for being you and being with me in my evolution journey, because you're phenomenal. Yes. So that was a great show.
I'm so proud of you.
And you're going to rock this show like crazy.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you for joining us. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Don't forget. And I'll keep you posted on who's going to be my next guest. Thank you so much, Julianne. Check her out, changerevolution.ca. And we will see you all next time. Bye for now.
Yay. Bye.